The Grand Canyon sucks, and I'm gonna tell you why. Friends, this is the story of my worst hiking experience I've ever been on. Okay, so a little context about the time, my experience or lack of, and what was going on at the time. Okay, so this was back in 2016, and I had probably already gone on 2 or 3 other hikes, day hikes, short hikes, not a whole lot of miles, and pretty inexperienced. It was something that I decided to do with an ex of mine, and we thought it was going to be a great trip, really great experience. She had already been out there numerous times. This was my first time out there, and I was just really looking forward to it. And this was actually, it was in October, and I remember it being very, very warm still. It probably felt like late 80s. We got to the trailhead at, I would say probably about 7 in the morning. And I remember it being a little bit cool in the morning. Really, really beautiful. You know, just the sheer awe and amazement and sheer beauty that is the Grand Canyon is just like something you've never seen before. You really, really have to be out there to believe it. It's see it to believe it kind of a thing. So we're on this trail, and I'm gonna put the names of all these places at the bottom of the screen here. And it was great, just really absorbing the beauty, and it was fantastic. We got all the way to the bottom, and we made it down to the Colorado River. And I remember we crossed a big extension bridge. You know, we had to cross that to get to the other side of the bridge, and it was just really cool. You know, we took some time right there at the water, at the river's edge, and just cooled off, you know, took off my shirt, soaked it in water, put it back on, my hat, same thing. It was just a fantastic time. It was hot, it was getting hot, it was a hot day. And then from there we went to this resting station, and yeah, it was about lunchtime by the time we got there, probably around 11:30, 12. Yeah, just ate my lunch, peanut butter and jelly sandwich, had lemonade. I know that place is actually well known for their lemonades, and it's one of their more popular selections there on their menu. So I had that, and just really just enjoying the experience and everything, relaxing. We were there for about probably around 30 minutes, 45 minutes at that station. And then from there, we decided to take another trail. So we started on this trail, and you know, didn't think anything of it, and it was going to be a little bit tougher just because we're gonna hike out of the canyon this time. And as I was going along, I noticed that my water levels in my water bottles were running low. So naturally, you know, I saw water in the nearby streams that we were passing, and not knowing anything about water filtration systems, not knowing anything about the safety and the great care that you need to take, I was oblivious to it, all of that information, and just took the stream water. So I just filled up my water bottles, I went on my merry way, and just thought it was no big deal. Well, about 2 miles into the hike, I started to feel kind of gross. I started to feel kind of yucky, and I'm like, oh geez, what in the world is going on here? I thought it was my peanut butter and jelly sandwich, you know, but then I thought, no, it couldn't have been that, you know, and I continued to feel ill. And about a couple of miles in, I was really, really slowing down. Again, just continued to feel gross and yucky and nauseous. And then I really did feel like I needed to get this food out of my body. You know what I mean? I had to get it out. I had to puke it out. So that's what I did. I went ahead and went off the trail and did what I needed to do. I puked it all out, and I thought I was good to go. Thought I was fine. Again, I continued to feel really, really gross and nasty and terrible. And I was like, oh gosh, what is this, you know? And it just got to the point, friends, where I was stopping probably every 10 minutes to just stop and puke, you know? And it was like that the rest of the way up. and I was trying to gain my strength, trying to hike along, and I just couldn't. I felt really weak. I felt dehydrated. I felt miserable. I felt just gross and nasty and nauseous. And the ex definitely wasn't helping. She wasn't very pleased, but I couldn't help it, you know. And I continued to puke and everything. And it got to the point where I was literally puking bile. It was not a good scene at all. You know, I was on the side of the trail pretty much just on my knees, and then people were passing by and they're like, "Oh, hey man, are you all right?" You know, I was like, "Oh yeah, I just don't feel good. I'll be okay though. I'll be okay." You know, just yeah, right. And so I continued to walk and try to hike out of there. And they had we got to a point where they had different watering stations along the way. And I dumped the old water out. I filled my water bottles with that water there, and it wasn't helping at all. You know, I continued to feel the same way and really struggling, really just, oh gosh, you know, and just, again, I couldn't keep any fluids down. I could not keep any fluids down. So, really struggled to make it out of there. And no joke, we ended up getting out of there probably around 7:45, 7:30. I don't remember exactly, but it was nighttime. It was pitch black. We didn't go in there with a flashlight or a headlamp, so we were forced to hike out of there in the dark. And it was crazy. You know, it literally took us 12 hours to get out of there. That easily could have taken us probably half that time to get out of there. And it ended up being a whole day ordeal. Once there, we went to the shuttle station. They sent us back to the parking lot, the main parking lot area, and then we were able to leave. And the first thing, you know, I wanted to do was eat something because I felt dehydrated, I felt hungry, I felt just like this unquenchable hunger. And we went to a gas station, a Circle K, and we bought a sub sandwich or whatever, and scarfed that down at the hotel. And I felt okay. I felt fine. And I was like, oh wow, well that's interesting, you know. And I slept like a baby. It wasn't no big deal. I woke up the next morning and felt fine, had breakfast, felt fine, but still pretty good, you know, for the most part. And it was just the weirdest thing. So looking back on it now, I've thought about this over the years. I've thought about, you know, what could have caused that? And it must have been one of two things. Either one, it was the water. There was something in the water. It was a parasite or something that I drank, and it didn't agree with my stomach, and it just had to come out. And it was not a good situation because of that, you know. The other reason was probably it's just the heat. You know, the Grand Canyon area has been known to have people experience heat exhaustion, heat strokes, and maybe it was something like that. It taught me a lot. It taught me a lot of what I should do, how to prepare, what I shouldn't do, doing research, all of that stuff. Do your research. If you guys ever consider going to the Grand Canyon, never been out there before, definitely do your research, definitely be prepared. But to sum it all up, do I really believe that the Grand Canyon sucks and that it's terrible and everything? No, obviously. Unfortunately, it was the spot where I experienced the most difficult hike I've ever been on. But anyway, this is the story of my worst hiking experience ever, guys. Hey, I would really like to know what yours has been. You know, tell me in the comments, what was your worst hiking experience? Where was it at? What was the season? Were you underprepared? You know, just stuff like that. It'd be really cool to hear that. Thank you guys for listening to my story. Appreciate it. Hey, we'll catch you guys later.